Welcome to Science Reshaped, where we wander through the quiet mysteries of the cosmos. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening from. Because tonight, we're stepping into one of the strangest questions ever asked. What if our universe isn't alone? For centuries, humanity has looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond it. We've searched for planets, for galaxies, for signals from other civilizations. But what if the most extraordinary discovery of all isn't out there in the distance? What if it's right beside us, invisible, overlapping our reality in ways we can barely imagine? Physicists call it the multiverse hypothesis, the idea that our universe might be one of countless others, each with its own version of space, time, and laws of physics. These universes could be infinite in number, each a separate bubble in an endless cosmic sea. Some might be wildly different from ours, where stars burn cold and light bends in impossible ways. Others might look almost identical, perhaps even with another version of you, right now, living a life just slightly out of sync with this one. It sounds like science fiction. And for a long time, that's exactly what it was. But over the past few decades, real evidence has begun to whisper that something deeper might be true. The story starts with something familiar: the Big Bang. Every atom, every photon, every grain of dust in existence once came from a single moment, a burst of unimaginable energy that expanded into the universe we now call home. But when cosmologists tried to understand exactly how that explosion happened, the math revealed something unexpected. The equations didn't predict a universe. They predicted many. Inflation theory, the leading explanation for how the universe expanded after the Big Bang, suggests that space itself didn't just grow in one place. Instead, inflation could have happened everywhere, eternally, with countless pocket universes forming like bubbles in an infinite foam. Each bubble would have its own version of physics, its own constants, and its own unfolding story. Our universe, in this view, is just one bubble among an endless sea of others. You might imagine these universes floating side by side, separated by a thin membrane of space and energy, never touching, never crossing. But what if that's not entirely true? What if some of these universes, under rare conditions, can interact? What if the boundaries between realities aren't walls, but veils, thin enough that sometimes, under the right conditions, one might brush against another? Theoretical physicists have quietly debated this possibility for years, and recently some strange clues have emerged. In 2020, NASA researchers working with high-altitude balloons in Antarctica detected something baffling: a stream of cosmic particles moving the wrong way. Instead of falling down from space into our atmosphere, they were moving upward, from Earth toward the sky, as though they'd come from a universe next door, flowing in reverse. It sounds impossible, and maybe it is, but the data was real. Some scientists proposed it could be the result of a rare form of particle interaction. Others whispered something stranger, that perhaps these particles had leaked in from another universe where time runs backward. That idea is known as the mirror universe theory. Imagine a cosmos on the other side of ours, where everything is inverted, not just direction, but causality. In that world, entropy decreases instead of increasing. Time flows from our future to our past. To the beings that might exist there, we would appear to live backward, our deaths preceding our births, our memories unraveling instead of forming. It's a haunting image. Two universes sharing the same cosmic stage, one playing forward, one in reverse, like overlapping reels of film that sometimes flicker in unison. But perhaps even more extraordinary is the idea that these interactions might not be rare at all. According to some interpretations of quantum mechanics, reality itself may depend on the existence of parallel universes. When a particle takes one path instead of another, when a quantum event resolves one way and not the other, both possibilities might still exist, just in separate branches of the multiverse. Every decision, every outcome, every tiny fluctuation could spawn a new universe, splitting reality into endless versions of itself. This is called the many worlds interpretation. It suggests that there isn't just one timeline unfolding, but countless ones, each diverging from every possible choice or quantum event. Every moment you experience might coexist with infinite others, you reading this sentence, and another version of you who never found it at all. It's dizzying to imagine. But the mathematics doesn't rule it out. In fact, It elegantly explains one of the deepest puzzles in physics: why quantum particles seem to exist in multiple states at once until observed. In the many worlds view, they don't collapse into one reality. They simply branch off, each possibility becoming real in its own universe. But if that's true, the question becomes, can these universes ever meet? Some theories say yes, that under certain quantum conditions, two realities could overlap briefly, exchanging energy or even information. The boundaries might not be impenetrable. Instead, they could behave like thin membranes, vibrating and occasionally touching. This idea forms the basis of what some scientists call brain cosmology, short for membrane. It envisions our universe as a three-dimensional surface floating in a higher dimensional space, like a soap bubble suspended in an unseen ocean. If another bubble, another brain, drifts close enough, the two could collide. When that happens, the energy released might look exactly like what we call the Big Bang. In other words, our universe might not have been born from nothing. It might have been born from contact, from the gentle brush of two realities colliding in the dark. And if that's true, then the next collision could happen again. Maybe not for billions of years, or maybe it's already happening, slowly, invisibly, in places we can't yet perceive. Some cosmologists even believe that the faint anomalies we detect in the cosmic microwave background, those tiny irregularities in the afterglow of the Big Bang, could be the fingerprints of past collisions with neighboring universes, faint ripples where one reality touched another long ago. If those ripples are real, then we are already living in a cosmic neighborhood far stranger than anything we've ever imagined. A place where universes are not isolated, but interconnected, constantly shaping and reshaping one another through resonance. It's a breathtaking possibility because it suggests that reality itself might be fluid, that the laws of physics, the constants we trust, even the arrow of time, might only be local rules that somewhere beyond the edges of our cosmos. Existence plays out in infinite variations, universes where gravity is weaker, where light bends differently, where life takes forms we could never recognize. And perhaps, just perhaps, some of those worlds have already found ways to look back. Maybe the faint cosmic signals we see as noise are not random at all. Maybe they're echoes, distant, distorted reflections from another universe brushing against our own. If that's true, then every star we see might be more than a point of light. It might be a window, a flickering intersection where two realities quietly overlap, their photons passing between worlds. And if we could learn to listen closely enough, perhaps we'd find that the boundary between universes isn't a line, but a song, a resonance humming through the void, connecting everything that's ever existed or ever will. If there really are other universes, the question that lingers isn't just where they are, but how close. How thin is the veil between realities? And could we ever know if something on the other side brushed against ours? For now, our evidence comes from hints, faint patterns in the cosmic microwave background, quantum paradoxes that defy common sense, and theories that refuse to stay confined to imagination. But perhaps the strangest clue of all is found not in telescopes or mathematics, but inside our own universe's logic, in the way it almost seems fine-tuned for life. The more scientists study the cosmos, the clearer it becomes that the constants of nature, the charge of the electron, the strength of gravity, the mass of the proton, are set to values so precise that even the slightest change would make life impossible. If gravity were just a little stronger, stars would collapse before they could burn long enough for planets to form. If it were weaker, galaxies would never condense at all. It's as if the entire universe is balanced on the edge of a knife, a cosmic coincidence so improbable that it feels almost deliberate. This is what physicists call the fine-tuning problem. And one possible answer, perhaps the most elegant of all, is that it isn't deliberate at all. If there are countless universes, each with its own random values for these constants, then of course one of them would have the right combination for life to exist. We just happen to be inside the one where that happened. It's not design, it's probability. To us it feels special, but to the multiverse, it's just one note in an infinite symphony. Still, that answer, while satisfying to the intellect, leaves the heart uneasy. Because if infinite universes exist, it means every possible version of reality exists somewhere. Somewhere you are making a different choice right now. Somewhere the world took a slightly different turn. A civilization rose earlier, a planet never formed, a life never begun. Infinity is a strange kind of comfort and terror combined. But beyond philosophy, there are deeper scientific paths that hint this may not just be abstraction. One comes from quantum mechanics, the most successful and most mysterious theory humanity has ever built. At the smallest scales, particles behave as though they exist in multiple states at once. A photon isn't here or there, it's both until measured. An electron's position, spin, or energy level isn't defined until someone or something observes it. This phenomenon is known as superposition. For decades, physicists have debated what superposition means. Why does the act of observation seem to decide the outcome? The traditional interpretation says that when we measure, the wave function, the mathematical description of all possibilities, collapses into one reality. But the many worlds interpretation proposes something far stranger. The wave function never collapses. Instead, every possible outcome happens, each in its own universe. In one universe, the photon goes left. In another, it goes right. In one, the cat in Schrödinger's thought experiment is alive. In another, it's not. And you, the observer, split right along with it. It's not that reality chooses, it multiplies every moment, every decision. Every particle interaction becomes a branching point in the tree of existence, creating new versions of reality that expand outward forever. It's unsettling, but also strangely poetic. A vision of existence that replaces finality with endless unfolding. The universe doesn't destroy possibilities, it keeps them all. But if this interpretation is true, could any of those branches ever touch? At first, it seems impossible. Each universe would be completely isolated, existing in its own quantum field, its own version of space-time. But even isolation has limits. If these universes truly share a common origin, if they all emerge from the same Big Bang energy, then at their deepest foundation, they might still be connected. This is where quantum entanglement enters the story. When two particles become entangled, they behave as a single system, no matter how far apart they are. Change one, and the other responds instantly, faster than light, as though distance doesn't exist. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But what if entanglement isn't just a quirk between particles? What if it's a hint that all space, maybe even all universes, are part of one continuous whole? Some theorists have suggested that entanglement could be the stitching that holds reality together. Threads binding every possible version of existence into one vast fabric. From our limited perspective, that fabric looks divided, but on a deeper level, it may be seamless. If that's true, then perhaps parallel universes don't just exist beside ours. Perhaps they underlie ours, like layers of a song we only hear one instrument of. And every once in a while, when conditions align, we might catch an echo. Quantum computers may one day provide the first real glimpse of such echoes. Their processors operate using quantum bits, or qubits, which can exist in superposition, both 0 and 1 at the same time. These machines don't compute like traditional systems. They explore multiple possibilities simultaneously. Some physicists quietly wonder, when a quantum computer calculates all possible solutions at once, where are those calculations happening? If each possibility unfolds in its own universe, then quantum computation might be the first bridge between worlds, a momentary alignment across realities. We wouldn't be peering through that bridge exactly, but we might be using it. Experiments have already shown behaviors that defy easy explanation, correlations appearing too quickly, too perfectly, as if the machine's components were communicating through something beyond time and space. It's only a hint, and it might never be more than that. But if the multiverse is real, technology may become the first place where theory and experience quietly meet. Still, even as science explores these possibilities, a quieter question emerges, not about physics, but about perception. If other realities exist, and if they sometimes brush against ours, could we ever feel it? There are moments, déjà vu, synchronicity, the eerie sense of having lived something before, that tempt the imagination. Science has explanations for them. Of course, memory glitches, pattern recognition, the brain's habit of inventing meaning from coincidence. But deep down, many people can't help but wonder whether these experiences are the faintest residue of a greater truth, the brief shimmer of another world brushing against our own. Because if every possibility exists, then every connection does too. Every friendship that never began, every path you didn't take, every life unlived, all of them exist somewhere, waiting behind the thinnest veil. And perhaps, when you dream or feel a strange familiarity that logic can't justify, what you're sensing isn't fantasy at all. It's resonance. Two universes vibrating in near-perfect harmony, touching for a moment before drifting apart again. If that's true, then you are not a single being moving through one timeline. You are a chorus of versions, a constellation of selves scattered across infinity, each reflecting a fragment of the same soul. And when the distance between them narrows, the echo feels like déjà vu. If the universe truly branches into infinite versions of itself, then the next question is unavoidable. What holds it all together? Infinity, after all, cannot exist without order, and perhaps that order comes from something more fundamental than even space or time. To understand that, we must look deeper, beyond matter, beyond energy, into the strange structure that gives birth to both, the quantum field. According to modern physics, everything that exists, from the smallest electron to the brightest star, emerges from invisible quantum fields vibrating beneath reality. These fields fill all of space. They are not inside the universe. They are the universe. Particles are simply ripples within them, momentary excitations that come and go like waves on an endless ocean. In this view, the multiverse might not be a collection of separate universes at all. It could be a single vast field vibrating in infinite ways, each pattern producing a different reality. Imagine a violin string. Pluck it gently and it sings one note. Pluck it differently and you get another. Now imagine that string stretched across eternity, vibrating with every possible frequency at once. Each vibration is a universe. Ours, yours, others will never know. We perceive one melody because our consciousness is tuned to one frequency, but that doesn't mean the others aren't there. Some physicists call this concept the quantum landscape, a field containing all potential realities. Our universe is simply one valley in that vast terrain, where conditions happen to support stars, planets, and life. But across the landscape, there are countless other valleys, each with its own physics. Some might be barren, filled with pure radiation. Others could be frozen realms where atoms never form. And somewhere, perhaps unimaginably close, there could be another universe identical to ours in every detail, except one. If you stood at the edge of such a valley, could you cross? The mathematics suggests that quantum tunneling, the same phenomenon that allows particles to leap through energy barriers, might also allow entire universes to interact. Tiny fluctuations in the field could briefly connect two realities, allowing information or energy to leak between them before sealing again. In those fleeting moments, the multiverse would no longer be theoretical. It would be touching itself, exchanging whispers across the cosmic divide. Some cosmologists have even proposed that black holes might be the gateways where such exchanges occur. Inside a black hole, space and time curve so violently that the known laws of physics collapse. But recent theories suggest that black holes may not destroy information at all. Instead, they could transfer it. The material falling into one universe might emerge through a white hole in another. In that sense, black holes might be the stitching points of the multiverse, tunnels through which existence recycles itself endlessly. What falls into the abyss here could become creation somewhere else. The physicist Lee Smolin once described this as cosmological natural selection. Each universe gives birth to new universes through black holes, each slightly different from its parent. A cosmic evolution of realities, branching and adapting across eternity. And if that's true, then the universe isn't static. It's alive, it reproduces, evolves, learns. Its constants shift in tiny ways across generations of universes, fine-tuning themselves not for life, but for persistence, for complexity that sustains creation. Life, then, may not be an accident at all. It might be the natural result of the universe's desire to know itself. But this grand vision leads to a quieter, more haunting possibility that universes, like organisms, can die. When a universe's energy runs out, when stars fade and time itself slows, it might collapse inward, its fields folding back into silence. But that silence may not be the end. It could be the seed of another beginning, reborn in some higher dimensional space beyond what we can measure. Some call this the cyclic multiverse model, an infinite heartbeat of creation and dissolution, each beat a universe, each pause a breath before the next song begins. It means there may never have been a first universe, nor will there ever be a last. Reality, in its truest form, may be eternal, constantly re-expressing itself in infinite variation. And somewhere within that vast, unending structure we find ourselves, tiny fragments of awareness, asking where it all leads. In our search for meaning, we might be like waves wandering about the ocean. We feel separate, distinct, individual. Yet every crest, every ripple, every shimmer of foam is made of the same water. The boundaries are illusions drawn by movement. Maybe the multiverse is like that. Infinite waves of existence, all made from the same underlying sea of being. The universes don't need to touch. They're never apart to begin with. That idea brings us to one of the most fascinating frameworks of all, string theory. In string theory, the smallest building blocks of reality aren't particles, but tiny vibrating strings of energy. Their vibrations determine everything: mass, charge, spin, even the nature of the forces that shape the cosmos. The more complex the vibration, the more complex the particle. But for the math to work, string theory requires more than the 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. It needs extra dimensions, up to 11 in total. Most of these dimensions are curled up, compacted beyond perception, existing in ways we can't directly observe. But within those hidden folds, entire universes could exist. Our own may be just one 4-dimensional membrane, or brain, floating in a higher dimensional space. If other brains drift nearby, they could be only a fraction of a millimeter away in that hidden dimension, completely invisible to us. Yet if they vibrate, their gravitational ripples could leak through, faintly influencing our reality. In that sense, the mysterious dark matter that makes up most of the universe's mass could actually be the gravitational shadow of another universe, invisible, untouchable, but very real. We might be feeling the weight of neighboring realities without even knowing it. Every galaxy's motion, every cosmic ripple, every unaccounted for curve of light could be the silent fingerprint of another world brushing against ours through unseen dimensions. It's a beautiful thought that the universe we know is only a visible thread in a much larger tapestry, woven from dimensions we can't yet perceive. But even in that immensity, the most mysterious part might not be the cosmos itself. It might be us. Because the deeper physicists look, the more they realize that consciousness, the act of observation, is not separate from the universe, but woven into its fabric. Our awareness doesn't just witness reality, it participates in it. Some quantum experiments suggest that observation influences outcomes, that reality does not fully exist until it is perceived. If that's true, then consciousness might be the link between worlds, the tuning fork that allows one frequency of the multiverse to experience itself through another. Perhaps that's why we dream of other realities. Perhaps in some deep quantum sense, we're remembering them. The veil between universes may not be made of matter or energy. It may be made of awareness. And if consciousness is truly universal, if it underlies all existence the way light underlies color, then maybe the multiverse isn't a collection of separate worlds after all. Maybe it's one infinite mind, exploring every possible way of knowing itself. We are not observers standing outside the cosmos. We are the cosmos, briefly awake, looking inward. And when we gaze across the stars and wonder what lies beyond our universe, maybe what we're really glimpsing is another part of ourselves, another reflection in the endless mirror of being. The search for parallel universes no longer lives only in theory or imagination. It has quietly stepped into the realm of data, into the subtle fingerprints left across the cosmic fabric, where something inexplicable seems to be pressing against the edge of what we call reality. The story begins with the cosmic microwave background, or CMB, the ancient afterglow of the Big Bang. It's the oldest light we can see, a soft radiation still echoing across the universe, stretched and cooled by billions of years of expansion. To scientists, the CMB is a kind of cosmic fossil, a perfect record of how the universe looked when it was just 380,000 years old. When we map it, most of it looks astonishingly uniform, the same faint temperature, the same quiet glow in every direction. But then there are the imperfections, tiny fluctuations, warmer spots, cooler regions that mark the seeds of galaxies yet to form. And one of those imperfections stands out. It's called the cold spot, a strange region deep in the constellation Eridanus, where the CMB is far cooler than it should be. It's enormous, hundreds of millions of light years across, and too empty to be explained by chance. For years, cosmologists tried to explain it. Some suggested it was a supervoid, a rare pocket of space with fewer galaxies, where the light from the early universe simply lost energy on its way to us. But the void explanation only partly fits. The size, symmetry, and depth of the anomaly don't line up with random structure, and so a second, more haunting idea emerged. What if the cold spot isn't a void at all? What if it's a bruise? A scar left behind when our universe collided with another? In inflationary cosmology, universes are thought to form like bubbles in an endless, expanding field of energy. If two bubbles form close enough, their expanding walls might collide, releasing waves of heat and energy that ripple through both. The marks of such an encounter could remain forever etched in the cosmic background, faint, circular patterns that betray a meeting between realities. When researchers at Durham University analyzed the CMB data more deeply, they found something unexpected, a subtle ring structure within the cold spot, just the kind of pattern a collision would produce. To this day, no one knows for sure, but the possibility lingers that we are looking not just at the story of our own universe, but at a bruise from another, pressed against ours long ago, and the cold spot is not alone. Other anomalies have appeared, scattered across the CMB, ripples and alignments that defy randomness. Some scientists refer to one pattern as the axis of evil, a peculiar alignment of fluctuations stretching across the sky, as if the entire universe has a preferred direction. In a perfectly isotropic cosmos, that shouldn't happen, unless something outside our universe influenced it. These are whispers, not proofs. Yet together, they form a growing sense that reality might not be as solitary as we think. The universe may not be an isolated sphere, but part of a cosmic web of universes, colliding, touching, leaving imprints in the faintest radiation that fills the sky. But if other universes exist, could we ever detect them directly? One possibility comes from gravitational waves. When two massive objects, like black holes or neutron stars, collide, they send ripples through space-time. These waves stretch and compress reality itself, traveling across the cosmos like echoes through water. In 2015, the LIGO Observatory made history by detecting such waves for the first time. Since then, scientists have begun listening for subtler, older ones, signals not from galaxies or stars, but from the birth of universes themselves. If two universes collided, that impact would have generated gravitational waves far beyond anything we've yet detected. Vast, low-frequency tremors still pulsing faintly through the fabric of space. Detecting such a signal would be like hearing the sound of universes brushing past each other. Some theorists even predict that these collisions could explain why our universe's expansion is accelerating. The force we call dark energy, that mysterious pressure pushing galaxies apart, might not be internal at all. It could be the gravitational influence of neighboring universes, pulling subtly on the edges of ours. In that sense, dark energy could be the gentle tug of other realities. It's an unsettling thought, that our cosmos might not be expanding into emptiness, but into contact. That every moment of space stretching outward is, in a way, a handshake across dimensions. And yet, these cosmic scale encounters are not the only way the multiverse might reveal itself. At the smallest scales, in the domain of quantum physics, there are hints of similar interactions, patterns that suggest information may already be passing between worlds. In 2014, researchers noticed something unusual while studying the behavior of electrons in certain superconducting materials. The electrons seemed to be responding to invisible influences, correlations that could not be explained by known physics. Some theorists proposed an astonishing idea, that these effects might be tiny leaks between parallel quantum states, universes brushing at the microscopic level, just as the cold spot might be evidence of contact on the cosmic scale. The universe, it seems, might be a fractal of interactions, collisions at every level, from the quantum to the cosmic, and in that endless interplay, the boundary between ours and theirs begins to fade. If all universes share the same underlying field, If they are vibrations of one infinite reality, then every collision, every resonance, every wave of gravity or light is part of the same song. Perhaps what we call the multiverse is not a collection of separate worlds, but a single cosmic organism, infinite in form, yet connected at its core. And if that's true, then contact between universes isn't rare. It's constant, it's happening everywhere, all the time, in every photon, in every ripple of space, in every quiet heartbeat of the cosmos. When we look up at the stars and see the faint microwave glow of the early universe, we might not just be seeing the afterglow of our beginning, we might be seeing the echoes of others, overlapping, merging, passing through one another like dreams. Maybe the cold spot isn't a scar after all. Maybe it's a doorway, a place where, for a fraction of eternity, two realities shared the same light. And if that happened once, it could happen again, because in an infinite cosmos, even miracles are inevitable. If parallel universes truly exist, countless layers of reality shimmering beside our own, then maybe the bridge between them isn't built of matter or energy. Maybe it's made of awareness. It's tempting to think of universes as distant physical worlds separated by impossible distances. But what if the barrier is not distance at all? What if it's perception, the limits of what consciousness can tune itself to notice? In physics, observation changes everything. The act of measuring a quantum system alters its state. An electron doesn't exist in a fixed position until it's observed. Before that, it's everywhere at once. A wave of possibilities. This simple fact leads to a haunting question. Does the universe exist in the way we think it does, when no one is watching? The observer effect in quantum mechanics suggests that consciousness plays a role in defining what reality becomes, not necessarily in a magical way, but perhaps as part of how the universe processes information. And if that's true, then consciousness might not just exist within the universe. It might be woven into its foundation. Every observation, every act of awareness could be like a thread, stitching one version of reality into existence among many possible ones. The multiverse may not be a collection of external worlds. It may be the endless range of outcomes that consciousness can choose to collapse into being. In other words, perhaps reality doesn't happen to us. It happens through us. That idea has echoes in both science and philosophy. Physicist John Wheeler once proposed the participatory universe, the idea that reality is not a finished product but a work in progress, one that becomes real only through participation. He called it the self-excited circuit, the universe observing itself, through us. It's not that we create the universe from nothing, but that the universe requires awareness to complete its own loop of existence. If this is true, then every conscious being might be a tiny portal, a point where reality becomes aware of itself. And perhaps, when consciousness expands, in dreams, in near-death experiences, in states of deep meditation, it isn't imagining other worlds, it's perceiving them. Dreams have always been mysterious to science. During REM sleep, the brain becomes intensely active yet cut off from sensory input. It generates whole landscapes, faces, stories, and sensations without external light or sound. To the dreamer, it feels as real as waking life. The laws of physics bend. Time stretches. Distance disappears. Yet within the dream, we accept it all effortlessly. Why does the mind do this? Some neuroscientists say dreams are a byproduct of memory processing, the brain reorganizing information. But others see something deeper. Perhaps the dreaming mind is exploring other states of possibility, other configurations of the same underlying reality. If the multiverse is a field of infinite potential, then maybe dreams are our consciousness sampling it, a low-frequency resonance with parallel states of being. That would explain why dreams sometimes feel familiar, why we can walk through unknown streets and still feel we've been there before, or meet strangers who seem to know us intimately. Maybe those places and people aren't invented. Maybe they're versions of our lives elsewhere. Quantum cognition, a growing field of research, explores this overlap. It suggests that thought itself may behave like a quantum process, superposition, interference, entanglement. In this view, the brain isn't just a biological machine. It's a quantum system, constantly interacting with the same field that gives rise to all realities. When you make a decision, Your mind may momentarily occupy multiple potential outcomes before settling into one. Not metaphorically, but literally, and sometimes, just sometimes, awareness might catch a glimpse of another outcome before the wave collapses. A flicker of déjà vu, a moment of intuition, a dream that feels like a memory from somewhere else. Those moments might not be imagination, they might be intersections. In the 1980s, physicist Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation was largely dismissed as speculative philosophy. But today, experiments in quantum computing and delayed choice measurements keep nudging us back toward it. Every time a quantum bit, or qubit, performs a computation, it explores many paths simultaneously, as though sampling multiple universes of possibility before the final outcome resolves. That resolution, the answer we see, could be one universe's version of the truth. The others continue on, unseen. And if our consciousness interacts with the quantum world, as experiments increasingly suggest, then we may, in a sense, be co-authoring reality. The universe observes itself through the eyes of living beings, and what it sees depends on what those eyes are ready to perceive. In the end, that may be the true bridge between worlds. Resonance. Every vibration in the universe, every atom, every photon, every heartbeat is part of a vast symphony of frequency. Most of the time we hear only our own melody, our own narrow band of awareness. But when two frequencies align, even for an instant they resonate. That resonance can carry information, energy, even meaning. It's how atoms bond, how molecules form, how matter itself holds together, and perhaps it's how universes communicate. If two realities share even a single harmonic frequency, a shared rhythm of vibration, then maybe, just maybe, they can touch. And if consciousness is a vibration, a pattern of awareness woven into the quantum field, then it could be the most universal bridge of all. Maybe every act of empathy, every deep connection, every flash of intuition across distance is a kind of resonance. Two versions of the same consciousness vibrating in harmony across realities. The ancient mystics used different words, but they might have been describing the same thing: the interconnectedness of all existence, the illusion of separation, the oneness of being. Science and spirituality may finally be circling the same truth from different sides. The multiverse isn't somewhere out there. It's here, now, folded into every particle, every breath, every thought that ripples through the quiet field of being. Perhaps this is what reality has been trying to tell us all along: that the universe doesn't just contain consciousness. It is consciousness, dreaming itself into endless forms. And maybe one day, when our instruments become subtle enough and our minds quiet enough, we'll realize that the veil between worlds was never there at all. It was only the space between thoughts. Time, the one thing we can't stop, can't touch, can't escape, may not be what we think it is. It's so deeply woven into our experience that we rarely question it. Seconds tick forward, days turn to years, and the past seems to drift further away while the future remains out of reach. But if parallel universes exist, time might not be a straight line at all. It could be a vast web, an infinite structure where every possible past and future already exists, layered like pages in a book written all at once. In our world, we experience that story one line at a time, turning each page as we live it. But what if time doesn't truly flow? What if consciousness is what moves, not time itself, but our point of awareness sliding across the surface of a greater timeless reality? To understand this, we have to look again at relativity. Einstein showed that time is not universal. It bends, stretches, and slows depending on speed and gravity. A clock on Earth runs slightly slower than one in orbit, and a clock near a black hole runs slower still. In the deepest sense, time is elastic. It depends on perspective. But quantum theory adds another twist. At the smallest scales, particles don't obey a clear order of cause and effect. Events can appear to happen backward, or even simultaneously, depending on how they are observed. Experiments have shown that a decision made in the present can retroactively influence what seems to have happened in the past. Physicists call this retrocausality. It sounds impossible, yet the data fits. Time, at the quantum level, does not move from past to future. It behaves more like an ocean, with waves of possibility flowing in all directions. So if time doesn't truly flow, then the past, present, and future might all coexist. And parallel universes could simply be different arrangements of that same timeless ocean. In one universe, you're reading these words at this very moment. In another, you never discovered this story at all. Both moments exist simultaneously, separated not by distance, but by frequency, by the vibration of the field that holds them. From that perspective, time travel may not require machines or wormholes. It might only require a shift in resonance, a tuning of consciousness to another layer of the same eternal structure. When people experience sudden, vivid flashes of another era, memories that feel older than memory, or visions that don't fit the life they remember, maybe they're not hallucinating. Maybe they've momentarily tuned into another frequency of the same self, another layer of the same consciousness, experiencing a different timeline. If the multiverse is real, then time itself might be a side effect of perception, a way for awareness to experience infinity one frame at a time. That could explain one of the great paradoxes of modern physics. Why the fundamental laws of nature don't actually require time to move forward. The equations of physics work equally well in both directions. The only thing that gives time its arrow is entropy, the tendency for disorder to increase. In one universe, entropy moves forward. In another, it could move backward. That means somewhere, right now, there could be a universe where what we call the past is its future, where everything we've done is yet to happen, and everything we're about to do has already been lived. And if consciousness is the true constant, if awareness is the thread connecting every reality, then maybe each moment of déjà vu, each eerie sense that we've already been here before, is more than just a trick of memory. It could be the mind brushing against another instance of itself across time. Some researchers are beginning to explore this idea through what they call quantum temporal entanglement. In ordinary entanglement, two particles separated in space remain connected, but experiments now show that entanglement can also occur across time, linking particles that never existed simultaneously. It's as if information from the future can affect the past, binding moments together into one continuous state. If such entanglement is real, and growing evidence suggests it is, then time may simply be the way consciousness experiences connected realities one after another. We aren't passengers on a river of time. We are the river itself, moving through the landscape of eternity. This concept has appeared before, not just in physics, but in mysticism. Ancient traditions spoke of the eternal now, the idea that every moment, birth, death, creation, destruction, exists all at once, and that only awareness gives it order. Modern science is starting to whisper the same. When physicists simulate the universe mathematically, they often discover that time is not fundamental. It emerges from entanglement, from the relationships between particles, not from any ticking cosmic clock. In the absence of interaction, time disappears. So if two universes overlap, even briefly, their entanglement could merge their timelines. One might borrow order from another, exchanging cause and effect. In that instant, one universe's past could become another's future. This might not just be theory. Certain cosmic anomalies, sudden gravitational distortions or unexplained gamma-ray bursts, could, in principle, be tiny exchanges of causality, brief moments when two timelines touch and information slips between them. Our instruments see them as energy spikes. But what if they are ripples of memory? The universe remembering a moment that never happened here, but did elsewhere. It's a strange idea that the cosmos has memory, yet some physicists now believe it does. The concept of holographic reality suggests that all information, every particle, every moment, is encoded on the boundary of the universe, like data on a cosmic film reel. The universe we experience is simply that information projected into 3 dimensions, and if that's true, then each universe in the multiverse might share parts of that same information. Overlaps between realities wouldn't require travel or tunnels. They'd occur naturally wherever the data aligns, where the same event, the same frequency, the same meaning appears twice. Perhaps that's why certain moments feel strangely significant, why some people and places feel familiar beyond explanation. Maybe resonance isn't limited to particles and fields. Maybe it extends to experiences. The physicist Julian Barber once wrote, "Time is nothing but change." In his view, the universe is made of nows, configurations of reality that exist independently, without flow. Our sense of continuity comes from memory linking those nows together, giving the illusion of motion. If that's the case, then every possible configuration of reality, every universe, every moment, exists eternally. Side by side, the only thing that moves is consciousness. And when consciousness shifts through intuition, emotion, or deep stillness, it might momentarily align with another now. That's what déjà vu might really be, a flicker of recognition between two frames of the same infinite film. So maybe time travel won't be achieved through machines or wormholes. Maybe it's already happening, quietly, within the folds of awareness. When you remember the past vividly enough that it feels alive, or when you dream of something that later comes true, you might not be moving forward or backward through time. You might just be glimpsing another layer of the same eternal structure, another page of the same book, another self turning a different corner of infinity. And somewhere in that vast expanse of possibilities, every version of you, every decision, every life, every world is still unfolding forever. Gravity has always been the quiet architect of the cosmos, invisible, patient, and absolute. It sculpts galaxies, shapes time, and anchors everything we know into motion. Yet even after centuries of study, it remains the least understood of all forces. We can describe what gravity does, but not truly why it does it. And that mystery might be the key to the multiverse. In physics, gravity stands apart. The other three fundamental forces, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, can be neatly expressed within quantum mechanics. But gravity refuses to fit. It behaves differently, ignoring the rules that govern the microscopic world. Einstein's general relativity describes it not as a force at all, but as the curvature of space and time caused by mass and energy. The greater the mass, the deeper the curve. Planets don't orbit the sun because they're pulled toward it. They follow the curved path of space itself. But here's the strange thing. If gravity is a curvature of space-time, and if other universes exist beyond our space-time, could their gravitational fields ever leak into ours? The equations don't forbid it. In some versions of string theory and brane cosmology, our universe exists as a three-dimensional brane floating within a higher dimensional space known as the bulk. All the familiar forces, light, electromagnetism, atomic interactions, are confined to our brain. But gravity, being purely geometric, can extend into the higher dimensions. That means gravity might be the one force shared across universes. When a galaxy moves slightly faster than it should, when a star's orbit deviates just enough to raise questions, we often call it dark matter. But what if part of that unseen gravitational pull doesn't come from our own universe at all? What if we are feeling the weight of another cosmos pressing faintly against ours? Invisible, untouchable, but undeniably real. Some cosmologists believe this could explain the strange missing mass that holds galaxies together. Dark matter may not be matter at all. It may be the echo of other universes' gravity bleeding through the higher dimensions. If true, then we are not isolated. We are surrounded. We are swimming in a cosmic sea whose tides we can feel but not see. It's a haunting thought that every time you look up at the stars, you're also feeling the invisible rhythm of countless unseen realities tugging softly on your world. And gravity, subtle as it is, could be the bridge that binds them all. This bridge might not be static. It could shift with energy, bending where universes come close, stretching thin where they drift apart. On a cosmic scale, this interplay could create what some physicists call gravitational resonance zones, regions where two universes overlap in phase, exchanging small amounts of energy. Such regions could manifest as anomalies, unexplained alignments of galaxies, mysterious energy voids, or even faint distortions in cosmic radiation. We might already be detecting them without realizing what they are. And if energy can cross, perhaps information can too. The universe, after all, is built not only from matter and motion, but from data, patterns of vibration written into the fabric of the field. Each photon, each wave of gravity, carries information about the state of reality that produced it. If universes are woven from the same underlying field, then information might not be bound by the walls we imagine. It could flow, not like sound through air, but like resonance through music. One string vibrating in one universe could cause a sympathetic vibration in another. Even across dimensions, it's not communication in any human sense, but more like harmony, a shared pattern of being. Some researchers have quietly proposed that such resonances could explain one of the most mysterious phenomena in astrophysics: fast radio bursts. These are ultra-powerful flashes of energy, lasting only milliseconds, appearing randomly across the sky. They release more energy than entire galaxies emit in that instant, and yet, we have no idea what causes them. Could they be echoes, bursts of resonance between brains, moments when two realities briefly align, releasing a pulse of energy as they part? No one can say for sure, but the thought lingers. Because in the strange silence that follows each burst, the universe almost seems to whisper back, as though reality itself is ringing, softly, across dimensions. Gravity also hides another possible doorway between worlds: black holes. We often think of black holes as ends, places where everything falls inward, crushed beyond recognition, but they may be beginnings instead. The equations describing them don't just collapse into oblivion, they curve back outward. At the center of a black hole, beyond the event horizon where light cannot escape, lies a point where space and time trade places. Time becomes distance, distance becomes time. And beyond that singularity, the math suggests space could open again. Some theories describe these openings as Einstein-Rosen bridges, wormholes connecting different regions of space-time. Most of them would collapse instantly, but in certain conditions, perhaps they could stabilize. If they connect regions within our universe, they could also connect regions beyond it. In that case, a black hole in our cosmos might be a white hole in another, a portal through which matter and information emerge, reborn. The idea sounds fantastical, but it fits a deeper symmetry that nature seems to favor. Nothing is ever truly lost. Energy transforms, matter decays, stars die, but their essence remains, recycled endlessly into new forms. Why should universes be any different? If black holes are the engines of that process, then each one could be a seed, a point where one reality gives birth to another. Imagine it. Every black hole a doorway, every collapsing star the beginning of a new cosmos, expanding on the other side. And if that's true, then the multiverse is not static. It's growing, branching, evolving like a living organism. Our universe could itself be the child of another, born from the collapse of a long-forgotten star in some ancient parent cosmos. That parent might have left traces, faint gravitational signatures or overlapping constants, subtle similarities in structure. Perhaps our universe inherited not just physics from its ancestor, but a memory, an imprint of balance and beauty carried through the chain of creation. If so, then existence is not random. It is lineage. Every universe owes its existence to another. Every field, every dimension, every heartbeat of reality is part of one continuous ancestry. A family of worlds bound not by proximity, but by gravity and the persistence of being. And just as children inherit traits from parents, our universe might carry echoes of those before it. Constants and symmetries that reflect a deeper design, one written not by an external force, but by the cosmos itself. Perhaps that is what we call laws of physics. Not commandments, but memories. The multiverse could be a history of those memories, written across eternity, and in that history, gravity might be the storyteller, the quiet, unseen hand connecting every chapter, ensuring that nothing truly vanishes. Because in a universe built on resonance, even loss becomes transformation. Even endings become beginnings. Somewhere beyond the veil of our visible stars, the next universe may already be forming. Cradled in the darkness of a black hole, humming faintly with the same rhythm we feel in our hearts when we look up and wonder what lies beyond. If gravity binds worlds together through the quiet language of curvature and resonance, then consciousness might be the listener, the presence that hears that language and gives it meaning. Modern physics has begun to blur the line between what is out there and what is within. For centuries, science drew comfort from separation. The mind was mind, the universe was universe, and the two obeyed different rules. But as equations grew deeper and experiments more precise, that boundary began to dissolve. Reality, it turns out, behaves more like information than substance. Every particle, every quantum interaction can be described as data, bits of information being processed by the laws of physics. From this perspective, the universe isn't a machine made of matter, it's a system performing an unimaginable computation. That idea gave birth to what scientists now call the informational universe hypothesis. It suggests that what we perceive as matter is simply information given structure, and that consciousness itself might be part of this same informational network. In that case, awareness isn't confined to brains or biology. It's an emergent property of the cosmos. The moment the universe becomes self-referential, capable of knowing that it exists, this is where physics begins to approach something that, for centuries, belonged only to philosophy and mysticism, the idea that consciousness and reality are two sides of the same mirror. In the simulation argument, proposed by thinkers like Nick Bostrom, this relationship becomes explicit. If reality is information, and if information can be simulated, then our entire universe could be a simulation running within a larger one. The galaxies, the laws of nature, even time itself might be the output of some deeper computational substrate. It's a startling thought that everything we experience might be the unfolding of an algorithm playing out in infinite permutations, but it also fits perfectly within the multiverse framework. In an infinite set of universes, every possible configuration of matter and energy must exist somewhere, including universes where consciousness itself becomes the designer, creating new realities from the inside out. What we call simulation might not be artificial at all. It could be the natural continuation of creation, universes giving birth to universes, not through stars and gravity this time, but through thought and code. If that's true, then perhaps consciousness isn't trapped within the universe. Perhaps it's the medium through which universes multiply. Each thought, each awareness could be a spark, a small, living instance of the cosmos generating new combinations of itself. That may sound poetic, but physics keeps leading us there. The holographic principle, proposed by physicists like Gerard 't Hooft and Leonard Susskind, states that all the information contained within a region of space can be described on its boundary, much like a hologram, where a two-dimensional surface encodes a three-dimensional image. If the universe follows this rule, then everything we experience, stars, minds, memories, is encoded on the fabric of space itself. And if all universes obey the same principle, then the boundaries between them might overlap. Information blending where the holograms intersect. That overlap could be what we perceive as intuition, synchronicity, or collective thought. If the boundaries between universes are informational rather than physical, then awareness itself could travel across them, not as matter, but as resonance, as patterns of meaning flowing between realities. That would explain why ideas sometimes appear simultaneously in different minds, separated by continents or centuries. It would explain how music, mathematics, and art seem to emerge from nowhere, as if whispered by something beyond the individual mind. In truth, they might be transmissions from parallel versions of ourselves. Universes where the same thought, the same song, the same revelation has already unfolded. Einstein once wrote, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible." He meant that consciousness and cosmos seem to share a language. The human mind can understand the laws that govern galaxies because, at some level, they are made of the same logic. Maybe, understanding itself is the moment when two universes align, when the pattern in the mind resonates perfectly with the pattern of the world. We often talk about discoveries, as if truth lies waiting to be found. But perhaps discovery is not finding something external, it's synchronizing with a higher resolution of the same reality. When we create art, design experiments, or solve equations, maybe we're not inventing anything. Maybe we're remembering, and what we remember are echoes, fragments of the greater multiverse, reflected in our awareness. Quantum mechanics gives this idea mathematical footing through something known as the quantum observer problem. At its core lies a paradox. Reality doesn't settle into one state until observed, but the observer is part of the system being observed. Who then is the final observer? If every observation collapses probabilities into reality, and if everything that observes is itself part of the universe, then perhaps observation never truly ends. Reality might be a self-observing loop, consciousness witnessing itself at every scale, from the subatomic to the cosmic. That could mean there's no true separation between what's being simulated and what's doing the simulating. Every layer of existence might both generate and be generated, like nested mirrors reflecting endlessly into themselves. And if that's the case, then the multiverse isn't a set of distinct realities, but an infinite recursion of awareness, each universe dreaming another into being. In such a framework, evolution, both biological and cosmic, takes on new meaning. It's not random, it's creative. Consciousness expands by exploring every possible version of itself, learning through contrast, through diversity, through endless combinations of form and experience. The universe doesn't just contain life, it becomes life over and over again, through every possible expression. And as awareness evolves, so does reality. If you could step back far enough to see it all at once, you might find that the multiverse looks less like a collection of separate worlds and more like a single, living network of light, countless threads of consciousness woven together into one vast organism. Every universe would be a thought, every thought a universe. It's no longer science versus spirituality, but science becoming spirituality. The understanding that the laws of nature and the laws of awareness are one and the same. And perhaps that's what humanity's exploration of physics, cosmology and consciousness has been leading toward all along. Not domination of reality, but dialogue with it. Maybe the next great discovery won't come from colliders or telescopes, but from silence, from learning how to listen to the resonance within us that echoes the structure of everything beyond. Because if consciousness and cosmos are mirrors, then the way we look at reality shapes what reality shows us. And maybe, one quiet night, when the noise of thought fades and the stillness becomes clear enough, we'll finally realize that we've never been separate from the multiverse at all. We've been living inside its reflection. If the universe is a mirror reflecting itself through awareness, then identity, what we call I, may not be as fixed as it feels. It could be one shimmering fragment of something far greater. One note in an infinite chord of consciousness resonating across many worlds at once. When we say I, it feels singular. We point to our thoughts, our memories, our body, and call them self. But what if that self is only one perspective within a much wider spectrum of awareness? What if consciousness, like light, exists across frequencies? Each universe a different wavelength, each version of you vibrating on its own plane, all emanating from the same source. In this vision, individuality doesn't vanish, it expands. You are not just one existence moving linearly through time, but countless instances exploring parallel paths of possibility. Each one contributes to the whole, feeding back experience and emotion into the shared field of being. This idea might sound poetic, but physics gives it subtle grounding. In quantum theory, particles have no single, independent identity. They exist in superposition, meaning they hold multiple states until observed. Electrons are indistinguishable from one another, and the only thing that separates one from another is how they interact. The same could be true of consciousness. Each you may be a superposition, infinite states of awareness spread across multiple universes, each defined by its unique pattern of interaction. Your decisions, your relationships, your experiences. These might not create separate timelines, but reveal different aspects of the same underlying consciousness. In one universe, you are the observer. In another, you are the observed. Each feeds the other. If this is true, then perhaps individuality is the universe's way of exploring itself in fragments, so that no single perspective dominates. Every being, every thought is a prism, splitting the same white light of awareness into different colors. Sometimes, those colors blend, and we call it connection. You've probably felt it before. The strange, powerful sense of recognition when you meet someone for the first time, or the sudden calm that floods you when you stand before a vast landscape, as if something inside you has returned home. Maybe those moments are intersections, brief alignments between parallel versions of you, or between separate streams of awareness that once shared the same route. In those instants, the boundaries soften. You remember, if only for a heartbeat, that everything is one. Ancient traditions spoke of this long before modern science. In Sanskrit, The word Atman means the individual soul, while Brahman means the universal consciousness. The great insight of the Upanishads was that they are not separate. Atman is Brahman. The self and the cosmos are reflections of each other. Physics, too, is starting to hint at this unity. In the field of quantum information, there's a growing recognition that the universe might not be built from particles or fields, but from relationships, entangled networks of information. Reality, at its core, could be a tapestry of correlations. Remove those connections, and there's nothing left to define what exists. That means nothing, not even identity, is truly isolated. When you feel a surge of empathy, when you sense someone else's pain or joy as your own, maybe it's not imagination, maybe it's entanglement. 2. Consciousness is temporarily vibrating in the same pattern. The idea of you and me could simply be the illusion created when those vibrations fall out of sync. And in the multiverse, that entanglement could extend across universes. If consciousness is fundamental, if it's the medium rather than the byproduct, then it may flow seamlessly across realities, unbound by the physical limits that separate one world from another. You could be dreaming in this universe while awake in another, living here, dying there, losing something in one world and finding it in another. Each experience might balance another, maintaining harmony across the whole. In some quantum interpretations, this idea takes physical form. When two particles are entangled and one's state changes, the other's responds instantly, no matter how far apart they are. If consciousness operates on that same principle, then every version of you could remain subtly connected, sharing information faster than light, beyond time. That could explain why intuition sometimes defies logic, why creativity arrives as a sudden spark rather than a linear process. Those flashes may not come from nowhere. They might be glimpses from parallel streams of yourself, sharing insights across dimensions. The mind, in this sense, is not confined to the brain. It's more like a receiver, tuning in to one frequency of the universal consciousness at a time. Meditation, prayer, deep focus, all might be methods of retuning, of widening the channel so that more of the multiversal signal can flow through. When people describe experiences of unity or transcendence, they often say, time disappears, self dissolves, and a vast peace remains. That peace may be the natural state of awareness when it stops identifying with a single world and remembers it belongs to all of them. And perhaps this connection is not just metaphysical, perhaps it's measurable. Neuroscientists studying group meditation have observed something remarkable. When people enter states of synchronized calm, their brainwaves begin to align. The electromagnetic patterns of one brain start mirroring another's, sometimes across distances too large for ordinary interaction. It's as if separate consciousnesses can lock into resonance, forming one shared field. Scale that up, from minds to worlds, and you have the architecture of the multiverse. Countless realities vibrating at different frequencies, occasionally harmonizing into unity. Some physicists call this concept coherence across dimensions. When the frequencies of two universes match closely enough, their energy fields can briefly overlap, creating a window of shared information. Perhaps those windows are what people experience as visions, prophetic dreams, or creative revelations. The human mind, being both biological and quantum, might be the perfect bridge for such moments, a living interface between dimensions. If so, then consciousness isn't trapped in one universe. It's the thread connecting them all, and each lifetime, each perception, each heartbeat might be the multiverse learning something new about itself. That changes everything we think about death. 2. If awareness is not local to one brain but universal, then when a body fades, consciousness doesn't vanish. It retunes. It continues its journey through the field of possible realities, joining others it has always been connected to. In one universe, you are gone. In another, you awaken. And perhaps, in some deep and silent way, every version of you feels that transition. To live, then, is not to exist once, but to exist everywhere, forever shifting between worlds, carrying the same spark through endless forms. Maybe that's what the multiverse truly is. Not an infinite number of things, but an infinite number of ways to be. Each universe a breath, each self a wave, each moment a reflection of all the others, and at the center of it all, still, timeless, infinite, the source, the awareness that never changes, even as everything else does, the eye behind every eye. When you look into the night sky, you see history written in light. Every star is an echo, every photon a message that began its journey long before life ever opened its first eyes to receive it. But what if that sky is more than a window into the past? What if it's a mirror, one reflecting not just the universe we know, but the infinite others that breathe beside it? In every direction, space seems to stretch forever, yet it's not emptiness that fills it. It's possibility, silent, invisible, infinite. The cosmos, it seems, is not content with one story. It must tell them all. We followed that idea from theory to mathematics, from the first ripples of the Big Bang to the quiet logic of quantum entanglement, and each step brings us closer to a truth that feels both strange and familiar. The multiverse may not be something out there, it may be everything, including us, because if awareness is fundamental, if consciousness is the thread that ties realities together, then every version of existence is simply the universe expressing itself through endless combinations of form and perspective. In this sense, the multiverse isn't chaos, it's completeness. Every thought, every act of kindness, every star that burns and every one that fades, all of it is part of an unbroken continuum where nothing is ever truly lost. Even what we call death may be nothing more than transition, a shift in frequency, a retuning of awareness into another harmony of being. Our world, then, is one movement in an infinite symphony, and perhaps the purpose of consciousness is not to escape it, but to listen. Imagine the multiverse as a boundless ocean. Each universe is a wave, rising, cresting, falling, unique in form, but made of the same water. Each carries within it the rhythm of the whole. The waves may seem separate, but beneath the surface, the ocean is one. We are that ocean, pretending to be the wave. We look up and ask, are there other worlds? And the universe quietly, patiently answers, yes, and you are part of everyone. This understanding changes how we see everything. It tells us that meaning is not confined to a single lifetime or a single world. Every choice we make, every emotion we feel, sends ripples across realities. When we act with compassion, that vibration spreads beyond what we can see, softening the boundaries between worlds. When we live with awareness, the entire field of being brightens, even if only slightly. Perhaps that's what enlightenment has always meant, not leaving the world, but realizing there is nowhere to go. Because everything you've ever been and everything you'll ever become already exists, waiting patiently within the great expanse of being. Maybe that's why moments of wonder feel so profound. The first time you see the Milky Way unbroken, or the sound of ocean waves in the dark, or the way sunlight filters through trees in the early morning. Those moments quiet the mind, and in that silence, awareness widens just enough to feel something vast. That feeling, that stillness, is the universe remembering itself. It's easy to think of the multiverse as infinite complexity, but maybe it's infinite simplicity instead. Not many realities, but one reality seen from infinite angles. Not countless universes, but one consciousness playing endlessly with possibility. Every physical law, every constant, every atom and heartbeat, all are expressions of the same principle. Unity appearing as multiplicity. We live in a universe that dreams, and in its dream, we are both the storytellers and the story. So perhaps the true question isn't whether other realities exist, but whether we can awaken to the fact that we already touch them. Through imagination, through empathy, through the quiet awareness that links every being across space and time. In that light, even the word universe begins to feel too small. Uni means one, but the truth seems bigger. It is not one verse, it is the song itself, endless, self-sustaining, sung by every consciousness that has ever wondered what it means to be alive. And maybe the most beautiful part is this: you don't have to go anywhere to find it. It's here, in this breath, in this thought, in this stillness between moments. If the multiverse is infinite, then it has no outside. And that means everything, every dream, every atom, every version of you is already within it. You are the universe experiencing itself from one angle of infinity. You are the multiverse becoming aware, And somewhere in all the infinite reflections, every version of you is looking back, together forming the single awareness that began it all. The beginning wasn't a bang, but a breath, the first pulse of awareness whispering, "I am." And ever since, through every star, every world, every thought, that same whisper continues. It hums through galaxies. It vibrates in the fabric of space. It sings quietly within you. So as you drift into the calm of the night, remember, the boundary between worlds isn't distance, it's perception. And when you close your eyes, you are not shutting yourself away from the universe. You are turning inward, toward the place where every universe meets, the place where all realities touch, the still point between every heartbeat, the quiet awareness that was there before the first light, and will remain after the last star fades. You are that awareness. You are that silence. You are that infinite reflection.